Hello children, welcome to class 9. Let's start with class 9 geography classes today. Students, you have 6 units for your syllabus, which is comprising of 20 chapters and map pointing. So children, today let's get started with the first unit, which is our world. So children, your first chapter will be our world, and the name of the lesson is Earth as a Planet. This unit 1, our world, you have 3 chapters in this unit. The first lesson is about Earth as a planet. The second chapter talks to you about geographic grid, latitudes and longitudes, and the third one is rotation and revolution. So children, one by one slowly we will get into and we start learning with the first chapter of this unit, our world, which is Earth as a planet. So children, as you are aware, we are in the solar system, and the family of the sun is called solar system. So everyone, all of us, we know this. So let me introduce to you very briefly that this solar system has 8 planets, and where Earth is one of the planet, and which is the third planet, and which is the home for the mankind. Yes children? Okay. Then see children, Earth is the only planet which supports life, and from the space, if we look into it, appears to be blue. Can you guess why it is? Yes children, it is only because 70% of its total area is covered by water. This is the only reason. So 70% of the total area of the earth is covered by water, and so it is also called as watery planet. So there can be a question, why it is known as a watery planet? So what will be your answer? It is nothing but 70% of this area is covered by water, so it is known as the watery planet. Not only these children, the chief members of the solar system are the planets. Most of the chief members they are the planets. Not only that, the satellites revolve around the planets, and the other celestial bodies are called asteroids, comets and meteorites. Maybe in the earlier classes you might have learnt about these asteroids, meteoroids, comets and so on. We are not going in detail about all this in this present class, which is the chapter the Earth as a Planet. In this chapter we are going to learn only about the shape of the Earth, proof that Earth is spherical in shape, Earth as a planet, and Earth as a home of humankind, and life-giving cycles. Okay children, these are the table of contents for your first chapter, which is Earth as a planet. So as I spoke to you children, the sun is the family of the sun is called the solar system. As you are aware of the solar system from the lower classes. From the class 3 you are learning about these planets, and the Earth is the third planet in the solar system, where life exists on this planet, and where life is possible only on this planet. Why the life is possible on? We will look into it slowly in the upcoming video. Okay children? So as we have already learned, the solar system comprises of 8 planets, which you can name it children. Yes, which are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. So moving forward children, let us get into the content of our lesson. First we will learn about the shape of the Earth. Can you guess children what is the shape of the Earth? Yes, it is not a perfect sphere. Yeah, it is not a perfect sphere. It bulges slightly at the center and is flattened at the poles. Just like if you can have an orange or apple in your hand, you can see it slightly bulges in the center, and to the poles it is just flattened at the pole. So this is the shape of the earth. It is not a perfect sphere. So earlier in the olden days, the earth was considered to be a flat disk with steep edges. But Aryabhatta, the 5th century Indian astronomer and mathematician, believed that earth is round in shape. He said that the earth was spherical in shape and rotated on its axis. And in the 6th century, the Greek philosopher Pythagoras said the same thing. And even today, we have convincing evidences that the earth is spherical in shape and it is not a perfect sphere. So children, there were some few experiments done and it was proven. Yes, it was proved. There is a proof that it is a spherical in shape. What is in the spherical shape, children? Yes, earth. Earth is in a spherical shape. So there are many more experiments. Let us discuss only few of them in this class, and when we meet we will talk about some more experiments. So the first experiment which was proven that earth is spherical in shape was the Bedford level experiment. In this experiment, it was the 3 poles of equal length were fixed at the intervals of 5 kilometers. It was ensured that the poles had the same height above the water in the canal. And when the poles were viewed from one end of the canal, the middle pole looked slightly higher, and it could not have happened in the earth if the earth had a flat surface. A similar experiment was repeated at different places with the same result. And children, this experiment demonstrated that the surface of the earth was curved and it was not flat. So this Bedford level experiment proved that earth is spherical in shape. Okay. One more experiment was the sighting of the ship. Children, while standing at the seashore watching an approaching ship, what do we observe? We first see only its mast. Then as it comes closer, we see the deck in the middle, and then its funnel, and finally the hull comes to full view. This can happen only when the earth's surface is curved. But children, if the earth was flat, the entire should have been visible at once. So with this, what it was proven? It was proven that earth is spherical in shape. So like this, so many experiments conducted on children, and it was proven that earth was spherical in shape. Not only this, the satellite pictures, even the satellite pictures also prove that the earth is spherical in shape, and the sunrise and sunset. Children, as you know, the sun rises from the east and sets in the west. Sunrise and sunset occurs at different times at different places. Why? This is because the earth rotates from west to east, and therefore people in the east can see the sun earlier than those in the west. Had the earth been flat, the sunrise and sunset would have occurred at the same time all over the world. So this was also one of the the practical example where it could prove that earth is spherical in shape. Children, say, suppose why sun rises in the east? If there is a question, then how would you answer to this question? The only simplest answer is because the earth rotates from west to east. This is the only answer you can write. Okay. So is it clear, children, why the earth is spherical in shape? Yes, there were few experiments done, and few of them I have discussed to you right now. With this, it was proven that Earth was spherical in shape. Okay, come on, let us move forward for the next content of our lesson. Here, let us talk about the Earth as a planet. In this, let us discuss why Earth is an oblate spheroid and Earth is a home for the humankind or for the living creatures, and some of the features for why it is the home for the humankind. Okay, the Earth as a planet is a spherical object in space which moves around the sun. What is sun's, children? Sun is nothing but it is a star and receives light from it. So the planets do not have light of their own. So they move around their stars in fixed paths, which are called, what are these fixed paths called where these planets move around, children? They are called orbits. Okay. So the Earth, it is an oblate spheroid, but it is not a perfect sphere. Children, its diameter varies at the equator and at the poles. Yes, its diameter, it varies. At the poles, its diameter is different, and in the middle, it is different. The poles, it is different, and in the middle, you call it as an equator, isn't it? There, it is completely different. This difference in diameter is due to the centrifugal force of the Earth's rotation. Diameter is due to the centrifugal forces of Earth's rotation at a great speed, which forms a bulge at the equator and a compression at the poles. So, children, the Earth is said to be an oblate spheroid. The shape of the Earth is also described as geoid, which means Earth shape. It is also described as geoid, which means Earth shape. So, let us now talk about the Earth, which is a home for the humankind. Children, our Earth is the only planet that supports life. Unlike other planets, it is covered with green vegetation, enormous blue-green oceans containing over 1 million islands, a large number of streams and rivers, huge land masses, and which are called as continents, with mountains, so many other landforms, deserts, etc. Then some of the life thrives virtually in every part of the Earth, from the coldest part of the poles to the warmest part of the equator. So children, Earth has some features where the life is possible and which is known as the home for the humankind. Why it is a unique planet? We also call it as a unique planet. Why it is called as a unique planet? So there are some particular features for this. So let us discuss one by one feature. The first important feature is distance from the sun. So children, the Earth is at an optimum distance from the sun. Hence, it is neither too hot nor too cold. So, what is the optimum distance from the Earth, children? It is why it is a unique planet, because it is from at an optimum distance from the sun. Hence, it is neither too hot nor too cold. The distance between the Earth and the sun makes life possible on the Earth. If it was closer to the sun, any life present would get burnt from too much heat of the sun, and if it was farther from the sun, life would freeze because of lack of heat. So, because of the distance from the sun, optimum distance from the sun, it is a unique planet. That is why it is a home for the humankind. And one more very important feature is the temperature. So, because it is a third planet from the sun, it has an average temperature of 17 degrees Celsius, which is suitable for life to exist. So children, if the average temperature on the Earth's surface changes by only a few degrees, many species would perish due to extreme heat or cold. Okay, so is it clear, children? So we have discussed two features. So the first feature was distance from the sea, and the second feature was temperature. What is the average temperature on the Earth, children? The average temperature of the Earth is 17 degrees Celsius. It is suitable for the life to exist. So, Earth is a home for the humankind. So this one feature also it is proven that it is the home for the humankind. And then the another important feature is atmosphere. Atmosphere is nothing but it's an air, it's a layer of air. So the presence of the layer of air also makes for the earth a unique planet. And children, the earth's atmosphere is made up of life supporting gases, which are oxygen, nitrogen and carbon dioxide. So many the other gases are also present, which are helium and argon. And ozone present in the earth's atmosphere absorbs the harmful ultraviolet rays of the sun. So the atmosphere also prevents loss of heat from the earth's surface and helps to keep the earth warm. Okay children, so this is one of the very important feature of the earth, that which is atmosphere. And let us talk about hydrosphere and biosphere. Hydrosphere is nothing but water. So hydrosphere, presence of hydrosphere or the presence of water also is very much important feature for life to exist on the earth. And water cycle also is very much important on the earth. Okay children, see you can look at the pictures given here, the water cycle, which is also very important for the why earth it makes a unique planet. Not only that, lithosphere also plays an important role. Lithosphere is nothing but land. The solid crust of the earth is known as lithosphere. Due to the weathering of the rocks, the surface of the earth has been heated or formed, which provides soil layer essential for supporting plant life. And soil also provides various nutrients necessary for the growth of the plants, which in turn support all forms of animal life directly or indirectly. And children, one more last feature of the earth is biosphere. Biosphere is a narrow realm of contact and interaction between the atmosphere, lithosphere and hydrosphere. Children, biosphere provides all the necessities for life and the species living on the earth, that is light, heat, water, food and habits. So these are the features where the earth makes it as a unique planet. And children, the biosphere is divided into as the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom. So what are the two important divisions of the biosphere, which is the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom? Okay, so what are the important features, children? The important features are distance from the sea, the temperature, the atmosphere, the hydrosphere and the biosphere. So moving forward, let us learn about the life-giving cycles. So the life-giving cycles are the nutrition cycle, the carbon cycle, the nitrogen cycle and the oxygen cycle. Let's just talk about one by one of the cycle. The first important life-giving cycle is the nutrition cycle. Children, the nutrition cycle represents a relationship between living and non-living things in our environment. So, which shows the interdependence of all living things on the earth. It operates through the food chain and other processes like photosynthesis, transpiration, respiration, etc. The living things are divided into producers, consumers and decomposers. Children, the plants are the producers of food through a process known as photosynthesis. Energy has its origin from here. So then there are categories of consumers like herbivores and carnivores who live on the producers. At the top of all is man, who can modify his own environment and create changes at the bottom or in the middle level of food chain. All living beings undergo decomposition by the action of decomposers and so on. So this is all about the nutrition cycle. So who is the main top children? It is nothing but the consumers who are heterotrophs, who are known as heterotrophs. Okay. The one more important cycle, life-giving cycle, is the carbon cycle. Carbon is the basic raw material of all life. All living things contain carbon. Atmospheric carbon dioxide is used by plants in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll to make their own food by the process of photosynthesis. During this process, CO2 is fixed as starch by the plants. From the plants, carbon moves along the food chain through consumers at different levels. After the death of plants and animals, the carbon present in their bodies is decomposed and absorbed as food by bacteria and fungi. Children, during respiration, plants, animals, and humans use atmospheric oxygen and release carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere. So, carbon cycle also is an important life-giving cycle for the humankind. And one more life cycle is the nitrogen cycle. Children, atmosphere is the largest reservoir of all the gases of free nitrogen. Plants take nitrogen in the form of nitrates from the soil and it moves through the food chain to animals. Nitrogen is returned to the soil through manure, excreta, and earthly remains of plants and animals and microorganisms. So, children, the one more cycle is the oxygen cycle. Living things take in oxygen from the atmosphere. They use it to release energy from the food they eat, and oxygen is also used together with carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen to build new molecules and in their water bodies. So, oxygen is released back into the atmosphere by green plants during photosynthesis and by the plants and animals as part of carbon dioxide. Children, these cycles are nature's mechanism to maintain balance in the ecosystem. So, what is the importance of this life-giving cycles, children? So, you can answer. These cycles are nature's mechanism to maintain balance in the ecosystem. So, just now we have learnt about the life-giving cycles. So, children, in this lesson, you have to know about the let us look into the content of the table of the contents, brief introduction about the topic, and then the shape of the earth, then the proof that earth is spherical in shape and earth is a planet and which is the home for the humankind, and the life-giving cycles. In this the shape of the earth, we have learnt about the experiments which proved that earth is spherical in shape, like for example the Bedford level experiment, sighting of the ship, the satellite picture, sunrise and the sunset, and many more experiments are there. And children, the earth is as a planet. In this we have learnt about some important features which prove that it is a unique planet, which are the distance from the sea, the temperature, the atmosphere, the hydrosphere and the biosphere. And then we have learnt about the life-giving cycles, which are the nutrition cycle, the carbon cycle, the nitrogen cycle and the oxygen cycle. Okay, children, so hope the lesson is clear to you, and the notes will be sent to you in the form of PDF. You children have to write these notes in your classwork and write it very neatly, children. Update your notes as and when the notes are sent to you. First you listen to the class carefully and then copy the notes which will be sent to you in the next class in the form of PDF. Note it down in your classworks, and then based on this PDFs or the classworks, worksheets will be sent to you. You need to answer these worksheets also. Okay, children. So as and then when immediately you receive the PDFs, try to note down, maintain the classworks neatly, write down your name, class, section, all the particulars required, Write down the name of the chapter. In every video we are mentioning the name of the chapter, the name of the lesson. Even in the PDFs also it will be less mentioned. So note down whichever day the PDFs are sent to you, whichever day you write down the notes, you write down with the date, mention the date. In every page you write down the date. Suppose you are writing 2 pages of notes today and 2 pages of the notes for the next day. You keep it for the next day. No problem in that. You can write down the date for today's day and the other next days also. But please do mention the heading with the dates, the classwork, the name of the lesson, and copy the PDFs or the notes very neatly with a neat handwriting. And children, you are going to use ballpoint pen. You can use only black color ballpoint pen to write down your notes. So maintain one notebook for the geography classwork where you are going to copy all the notes sent to you in the form of PDFs. So right now one lesson is explained to you, which is Earth as a planet, and which is chapter 1 for you from unit 1, our world. Okay children, hope the lesson is clear for you, and listen to the video first, and when the video is when the PDFs are sent to you, immediately try to note down. And children, maintain your handwriting very neat and clean. Children, in this lesson there are few terms which are very new to you. For example, it can be a circumnavigation. There is a word term known as circumnavigation, which means it is navigation around the globe. Circumnavigation is nothing but it's the navigation around the globe. Not only this, you have the word geoid. Geoid is nothing but it is earth shaped. Geoid is nothing but it is earth shaped. So such type of words you come across which are known as a geographical terms. You need to use these geographical terms when you answer for the questions. So first lesson of your geography class 9. Hope it is clear to you all children. Any doubts, when we meet, it can be cleared. And children, once again it is I'm informing you, write down the notes neatly and clearly. Do not keep any writing work pending. So as and when you receive the PDFs, write down the notes very clearly with a neat handwriting. And again I am mentioning, you have to mention with the date, name of the chapter, and name of the unit also can be mentioned, and take down the notes very clearly without missing any points. Your notes will be checked and corrected whenever you come to school. Okay, so very clearly it is mentioned children, you have to take down the notes clearly. Okay, that's